Alright, this is my first trip report ever, so I'm going to tell you about my weirdest and probably dumbest trip ever. And by dumb, I mean I was younger and way stupid, and did this without doing any research into what the fuck Datura even was. Now, I am a bit smarter and will never in hell eat this stuff again. It really is called the devil's weed for a reason. Anyways, I started hearing things at my school about this plant growing in people's gardens, and if you mixed its dried leaves into joints, you got way higher. Next I heard people were eating its seeds and actually hallucinating, so of course I had to try this shit out. I talked my friend, we'll call him C, into giving me a location of the plant, and at lunch me and 3 friends, B, D, and T, snuck over and filled out bags with the spiky Datura seed pods. Before I went home to try them, I asked B how much I should take, trusting his drug experience, and he suggested 30 to 50 seeds to start, and work my way up from there. Probably good advice. That night, I ate them. Bear in mind I was a big pothead, and maybe a little naturally stupid, and had no clue that you had to wait longer for orally ingested drugs to kick in. 10 p.m. I started with 50 seeds, chewed them up good, and swallowed them. Waited 15 minutes, I know, dumb, and figured they weren't working. 10:15 p.m. Ate another 50 seeds, chewed, swallowed. 10:45 p.m. Still no effects. I know, I'll eat another 50 seeds. 11 p.m. Alright, now I have 150 seeds in me. 1 hour since I ate the first 50 seeds and still effects yet. So I figure this stuff must be crap. Stupid liars at my school must just be trying to get attention. So I smoke some weed and go to sleep. I figure I wasted my time. Halfway through the night, I wake up and my hand is on my face. For some reason, the first thing to come to mind is it a scorpion? I don't move. I don't want to get stung. Then, I swat it off my face and realize it's my hand. This whole thing doesn't even strike me as unusual, and I go back to sleep. 7:30 a.m. Tuesday morning. I wake up for school, but something is definitely not right here. My room is kind of moving in a way it didn't before, and my coordination is wrong. I stumble over to my door and to the laundry room to get dressed, when I think I see my dad standing there watching me. I've never quite got along with really that well, as he does not like my affinity for psychedelics. He just stands there staring, and I ask him, "What is wrong with you? I'm trying to get dressed here." Wait, what the hell? Where did he go? I go downstairs and start eating breakfast, and find out my dad left for work 2 hours earlier. I am confused. Suddenly it dawns on me. Maybe this Datura stuff isn't bullshit after all. I then went to school, and really started my nightmarish trip. Maybe it wouldn't be so bad in the right environment, but high school is definitely not the time or place for this particular trip. I talk to my friend C, who decides he should tell me how long it lasts. Yeah, dude. This stuff lasts 3 days at least. What the fuck, man? He tells me to have a good ride, good luck, then leaves for class. Fuck. Now I'm worried. The rest is fragments of memory, but I will share the ones I remember here as I remember them. Day 1. Things went reasonably well. Nobody seemed too suspicious, other than D and other friends tell me my pupils were massive. I remember hearing the odd voice in my head, paranoia, crazy shit like that, and wicked bad cottonmouth. Day 1 went relatively well, not too many big hallucinations that I remember, mostly tracer type things I think. At this point none of my stoner friends, B, D, and T, had eaten any seeds. Things are trippy, but not really in a bad way, and not like any other drug I've done since then. Day 2. The shit hits the fan. Constant cottonmouth, voices in my head, objects that shouldn't move sometimes seem to be, but not in a cool way anymore. My girlfriend read up on Datura and was worried about me, and I'm trying hard to maintain during classes, which is getting tough. I never noticed how much my science teacher looks like an orangutan, and I almost laugh in her face. Then I remember talking to my history teacher, and my foot melts into the floor for a second. She must have noticed because she asked if I was feeling okay, and looked at my eyes suspiciously. My eyes are like huge black holes at this point. I am constantly thirsty, dizzy, and having a headache. My friends all want to eat some despite my warnings, but who gives a shit right now? I am focused on appearing sober, and doing a shitty job at it. That night, I go home and sit on the couch and just stare for a while. Not at the TV. I don't think it even occurred to me. Just into space. I remember feeling like my brain was full of static. Then my mom comes home and asks if I'm okay, and for some reason I comment how foggy it is outside. She tells me there is no fog. It is sunny. I decide this is a good time to take a walk down to where I work down the street to ask my boss for some time off the next week for a camping trip. Here comes the craziest hallucination I think I've ever had. Since this I have tripped on mushrooms once, MDMA 3 times, mescaline 5, LSA 15 plus times, and salvia dozens of times, as well as a pretty large bunch of other things I won't get into now. I still think this one was my weirdest hallucinations to date, excluding salvia. Nothing gets weirder than that plant. I was walking down my street. I walked past a mini-mall, looked to the left at my reflection in a dark window, and thought I saw me walking, holding hands with my girlfriend. The weird part was I was so screwed up at this point I didn't even click with me that she was there. Then I looked back a second later now, and I was holding hands with myself. This clicked in as not right and scared the fucking piss out of me. And I looked to my right, and sure enough, I was alone. I am not exaggerating. This was the realest hallucination I've experienced. I can't remember if I kept walking or went home. Day 3. Things are getting nightmarish, and I am really looking forward to the end of this bullshit. Voices coming and going more frequently, as well as trails on objects, and I am starting to get pretty anxious and paranoid. I remember having a lot of trouble communicating with people, and even at one point, seriously considering that Datura had made it possible for me to read people's minds. By now I was getting pretty delirious. I'm not sure if it was a hallucination or not, but there was one moment in Day 3 where I seriously convinced I might die. I was sitting in history writing a test, failed it obviously, when suddenly I felt massive pain in my chest. The pain was real, but my brain may have made it seem worse at the time. The pain spread quickly to my left arm and back, and I was sure I was having a heart attack. I was freaked the fuck out and started sweating. Luckily, I sat in the back of the class and somehow got through this without anyone noticing. I remember starting to get up and try to get help, but the pain was so much I had to stay sitting and squeeze my eyes shut. Then a couple minutes later, it was gone as quickly as it came. Then later, that same class, we had a surprise fire alarm where I met my friend D outside, who was now also on Datura. He had no clue what was happening and thought it was time to go home. I tried to tell him we still had school, but he thought I was lying. There was some more shit, but this trip report is long enough already. I would not recommend this. It totally sucked for the most part, and put 3 people in my school in emergency in less than a week, one of which was in a coma but recovered. Luckily, I wasn't one of them.